From torture to mass incarcerations to forced live organ harvesting. Over the last 3 decades, Congressman Smith has helped shine a light on the deteriorating human rights abuses in communist China. Earlier, I had a chance to speak to him about the CCP's assault on religious freedom and why it's important to prioritize human rights in high-level talks with the Chinese regime. Congressman Smith, thanks so much for sitting down with us.
Thank you, Steve. Really appreciate this opportunity.
Really appreciate you and everything you've done for human rights. Speaking of which, you chaired a very important hearing yesterday on religious freedom inside of China in particular. Talk to us about that. You've been a champion for human rights in China and really around the world for that matter for decades. What is your assessment of the current state of human rights in China?
Right now, under Xi Jinping, the status of human rights across the board, and religious freedom in particular, is absolutely horrific. He has, like no one else, like Mao Zedong, done everything he can to crush people. He's gone after the Falun Gong with a meat cleaver. He's committing genocide against the Uyghurs in Xinjiang, and he's the one who said, "Show no mercy," when they unleashed that horrific attack, which is ongoing to this minute. What he does against the Christians and the Buddhists, the hatred that Xi Jinping has for the Falun Gong practitioners is just not... Why? What's your problem? Xi Jinping, I think, thinks that he's the one who should be worshipped and followed as if somehow, he's a deity. We see that elsewhere. It's a megalomania that's very, very unhealthy, and obviously it leads to a lot of people being killed and tortured. The pervasive use of torture in China, I've had numerous hearings on it. If you're arrested, you will be tortured. And you will be, hurt horribly, not just through deprivation of food and water and the like. They'll use cattle prods. Years ago, I had a hearing, and I had a Buddhist monk testify, and a lot of other people. This was like 30 years ago. And Paulden Gyatso was his name, and he came in and brought a cattle prod, which he was stopped coming in through the security here, because they wanted to, what is this? And he said, this is what they use when the Chinese Communist Party is torturing. They put it on the genitals, they put it into your mouth, they put it elsewhere, very sensitive areas. How sick and perverted is that? And Xi Jinping leads that effort. And they use torture to get names, to extract confessions, and they do it every single day of the week. Manfred Nowak, who was the UN Special Rapporteur on torture, did an amazing report on that very use of torture, and there's a special vehemence against people of faith, people like the Falun Gong practitioners, and then finally, when it comes to an issue like forced organ harvesting, I wrote a bill. It's pending over in the United States Senate. It passed 406 to 1 earlier this year, and it passed in the last Congress. We can't get the Senate to take it up for some reason. You don't get bills passing with that kind of majority unless there's an absolute sense of, we got to get this done. 406 to 1. And it's called the Stop Forced Organ Harvesting Act. And we know that Xi Jinping and his Chinese Communist Party is making huge amounts of money selling organs. They kill 50 to 70 or more thousands of young people every year. They murder them to get their organs. I've had numerous hearings on it. There's no doubt that this is going on. They sell them. Or if Xi Jinping himself needs a new liver, he's going to turn to some 28-year-old Falun Gong practitioner or someone who is very healthy and steal their organs, and in the process they kill them. That is right out of Joseph Mengele's Nazi Germany, and they're doing it right now in China, and Xi Jinping is leading the parade.
It's really unthinkable.
Unthinkable.
It's not black market. It's not some rogue actor. This is state-run.
It's state-run, and it's industrial size. I had my first hearing on forced organ harvesting in the 90s, and then it was very small number. They used to execute prisoners, take their organs right away. They had ambulances all lined up. I had a man that actually did it, that came and testified and gave very compelling testimony. But then all of a sudden they matriculated into an all-out effort to say, hey, we can make a lot of money here, and also we can perpetuate our own lives as Chinese Communist Party leaders by stealing these organs. When Putin and Xi Jinping were caught in an off-mic thing talking about organ harvesting and longevity of life, they know where they're getting them, especially Xi Jinping. They're getting him from victims. I had one doctor who actually did them testify at one of my hearings. And he said one of his patients was not properly anesthetized. And as they're taking the organs out, this victim, this man, started screaming in pain. We're hoping that after yesterday's hearing, and I did make the recommendation, that a group of really good leaders in each of the faith entities and disciplines will meet with the president, especially before he meets with Xi Jinping. I do believe our president will be moved by it. You know, if they're out of sight, sometimes it's easy to forget. Let's do another trade deal. Let's do a human rights engagement with China. And there's a whole array of sanctions that can be leveled against them.